Hey, Crystalline21 here. Yeah, I am here with this. I tried to do this once before, but I talked too much, explaining a little bit, reading effects. Um, but yeah, I'll probably make this a two-part video because I want to explain this as much as possible so you guys understand what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's get it off to the start. Alright, let's read Silent Magician Level 4's effect. You run 3 of them in your deck. Each time your opponent draws a card, or cards, because it has this little thing right here, because it has this little thing, makes this card not as broken. If it just said card, this card would be broken as hell, because you could instantly have a 35 beater out on the field by having card destruction, using it, having your opponent draw 5 cards, and this becoming a 35 beater. And let's continue. Put 1 spell counter on this card. Maximum is 5. Increase the attack of this card by 500 points for each spell counter on this card. If 5 spell counters are on this card during your standby phase of your next turn, by sending this face-up card with 5 spell counters to the grave, special summon Silent Magician Level 8 from your hand or deck. Hand or deck is very nice. If it was just deck, it would be a little bit harder to do and play with. But because it's from hand or deck, it's a little bit nicer to you. But for now, let's continue to move along with Silent Magician Level 8. This is what you use. This is the card that you want to get out. It's fine if you just want to keep this at a 35 beater with the level 4. I mean, it's the best beater in the game. There's no other level 4 in this game that can attack over Silent Magician Level 4. When this thing has 5 spell counters on it, there's nothing that can attack over it at all. Alright? Nothing. There's no other level 4. Thunder King Ryo can go stuck. Well, this is a girl, so yeah. Silent Magician Level 8. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by the effect of Silent Magician Level 4. This card is unaffected by your opponent's spell cards. So therefore, this is a very good card. It's a level 8 35, pretty good. The only difference between these two is this one is affected by it, this one isn't. This one can be Book the Moon, this one can't. If this card read that it can't be affected by spell cards, it would be broken as hell because the only way you'd be able to get rid of it is from traps. But it's pretty easy to get rid of the spell counters by Book and Mooning it, and all the spell counters get reset. So yeah. But getting this out, your main beater, it's pretty nice. Next one is Silent Swordsman Level 3. Negate the effect of your opponent's spell cards that target this card during your standby phase by sending this face-up card to the grave. Special summon 1 Silent Swordsman Level 5 from your hand or deck. You cannot activate this effect, but turn this card is normal summoned, special summoned, or flip face up. And the reason why they put this little part on here is because of Call of the Haunted. If Call of the Haunted and other trap cards that could special summon from the grave or from Banished weren't there, this card would probably not have to read this. But because those cards do, you can't just like Call the Haunted during your standby phase and send and special, or else this card would have been broken. Because you could just send it to the grave, Call the Haunted, special, and all that. Next is Silent Swordsman Level 5. This card is unaffected by your opponent's spell cards. if this card successfully attacks your opponent directly during your next standby phase by sending this face-up card to the grave, special summon one Silent Swordsman level 7 from your hand or deck. Now, this is, a lot of people think this is a lot harder to use, but it's actually not. It's actually a pretty decent effect because you're going to be controlling because you're probably going to be controlling the field for a little bit. For most of the game, if you lose control of the field, you'll more definitely lose because this is basically if they try to tribute you and you have your boss monster out on the field, you're gonna be dead. So that's why consistency and speed are two things that you want in this deck. But you also want to have stalling. Stalling is key because if you can stall for a few turns and get the field advantage, then you can own. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact of this word that I hate so much because I cannot say it successfully, if it wasn't for that, this card would have been a little bit better because you could attack. They have no monsters attack directly. They activate Battle Fate or a card that negates the attack that isn't a trap card that'll destroy it. Because a lot of people aren't playing trap cards to negate attacks anymore because they're basically or the games are too fast for them. You basically want spell because they're faster. And so a lot of people aren't using traps as much, is what I've seen. From dealing with this, I mean, I've won because a lot of people are using spell-heavy decks, and I negate spells. So yeah. Next is Silent Swordsman level 7. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned with Silent Swordsman level 5. And cannot be special summoned by any other way. That means if your opponent gets this in the grave by attacking over it or suiciding with him, they cannot activate Monster Reborn and have it on their field. There's only one way to get this back, and that is a spell card that I do not like. Level. Can't spell level. Oh wow. I'm running all this and I can't spell level. This is this card. This is the only card that I'll be able to get this back. That's only if it was if it was summoned correctly. Alright. Next let's negate the effect of all spell cards on the field. Now let me specify. All spell cards on the field. A lot of people may think this is just continuous or field spells. This effect applies to every spell card. Now I'll explain why. For a spell card to resolve, it must be on the field. So therefore, it is negated by this effect. For the activation, it necessarily doesn't have to be on the field. And I'll show you an example. It's your turn. In your standby phase, your opponent activates Royal Decree. You have an MST in hand. You activate MST. The activation of the spell is in your hand, and you're activating it to resolve the effect on the field. So therefore, to resolve a spell card's effect, it has to be on the field. So therefore, it is negated by Silent Swordsman level 7. That's basically the best way to explain it. Next we have Sangan, Obvious Searcher. He can search out any of your key cards. You can search out level 4, level 3, Honest, and Effect Failure. there are 6 cards in this deck, 6 monsters that he cannot search out, and those are cards that you want in your deck. So he can search out any card. If this card gets banned, and then that's ban list, this deck will have to be changed a lot, because this is like the key searcher of the deck if you're behind. 2 effect failure, because you need effect failure. Effects kill you. 1 honest. It's honest. All your monsters right here are light except for Sangan. So yeah. The key spell card of the deck. Yes, even though you thrive on negating spells, the key spell card is Level Up. This card makes all of your monsters playable in 1 turn. Especially Silent Magician level 8. Why? Because you level up and you jump from a level 4 to a level 8. It's that simple. You summon, level 4, activate, level up, and you get your level 8. Now doing this first turn, because you went first, is very, very good. Because they're staring at a 35 feet stick that can't be destroyed by cards. So how are they going to get it off? Probably with Mirror Force or anything, which a lot of people are talking about taking out because they don't use it as much. But yeah, level up. If you have this out on the field and you want to get your level 7 out and you have a level 5, he can be normal summoned. You contribute a monster to normal summon this card. You contribute Sangan to get this card, get search effect, activate level up, and get him out. That's pretty good play. Next we got some protection cards, Book of Moon, MST, 2 swords, card trader just in case you get these cards in hand, which you don't really want. The 6 cards that you don't really want in hand. Level 5 isn't too bad to get in hand because you can normal summon it. But these 2, level 8 and level 5, or level 8 and level 7, aren't really cards that you want in your hand. Just because they're clogging up your hand, and you want to get your other key cards out. So now you got Monster Reborn, just in case you want to get your Honest back in hand, you want to get another search for Sangan, or you just want to special summon these to try to get another playoff. Or maybe your opponent has a monster that you want. Let's see what time I'm at. I'm at 13 minutes. So I'll end it here and I'll start with Clear World on my next video. So see you later. In 3, 2, 1.